Anthem is the game that bears the heavy hopes of the Destiny and Warframe fans, as it's the next hot AAA looter shooter. Come January the 25th, Anthem will be revealed to the world with the VIP demo, and the NDA will be lifted, and all your favourite content creators sorry about that will be telling you what they think of it. Now I want you all to really bear in mind that the full game releases on February the 22nd, only a month after the demo. What you're going to be playing in that demo and what you're going to be seeing in that demo is going to be pretty much, barring a few minor changes, exactly what the game is going to be like at launch. So please do not get hoodwinked, do not get Fallout 76. If you don't like what you see, do not fall for the fact that they're going to say they're going to make drastic changes to the game. What you see is what you're going to be getting, so don't make the purchase if you really don't like what you see. Also, a little tidbit, it's also very interesting that Bungie have scheduled their DLC to run at the exact same time as this demo. The Last Word quest will be releasing towards the end of January, and I imagine it'll be pretty much running consecutively with this demo to try and steal some of the audience away from Anthem. So it shows that Bungie are slightly concerned, maybe. Now, Anthem is a game that I'm invested in and really looking forward to. So before the big reveal to the world on January the 25th, I kind of want to go over some of my hopes and also some of my concerns that I really hope Anthem can get right so that this game isn't a big flop. Now, my number one concern for Anthem is, has it learned from Destiny in the right way or the wrong way? What do you mean by that, young man? I know exactly what you're thinking. What I mean by that is, Destiny was a game that released unfinished at £40, that's $50 US. The rest of the game was then sold to us at a later date for even more money. Now, for me, Destiny 1, I believe I ended up paying around about £130. That was with 3 of the DLCs and the main one. There was an extra £40. And that was just to really get what the game should have been when it first launched. Now, I excuse this, I said that's because obviously Bungie were rushed. They had to cut loads of things out. They were really ambitious with this game. The next one will be fine. And that's what I said all the way up to Destiny 2. So when I heard Destiny 2 was going to be released, I thought, oh my god, this is going to be insane. They're going to have fixed all the things that were wrong with Destiny 1. Destiny 2 is going to release absolutely perfect. And it's going to be the game that we always hoped Destiny 1 would be. Now, sadly, that was 100% not the case. Destiny 2 actually released with less original content than Destiny 1. For those of you that haven't played any of the Destinies and have no idea what I'm talking about, I really hope that you hang with me because this does make sense. Now, Destiny 2 did not learn at all from Destiny 1, or did they? Did Bungie realise that they can release a game unfinished and people still pay for it? Yes. Did they realise that people will then pay even more to get the game that they wanted in the first place? Yes, because in Destiny 2, just like Destiny 1, they followed the exact same DLC pattern, releasing 2 small DLCs for around about £25 and then a big one for £40, the price of the original game, just to get the game up to speed with where it should have been in the first place. And that's exactly what Bungie did. You can try and, you know, protect them as much as they want. If they're a company that you like, they did it to us twice. They sold us an unfinished product and then forced us to pay extra for it just because of the fact that they could get away with it. Now, I'm really hoping that Anthem has learned from Bungie in the right way and not the wrong way, in the fact that they're not going to release something that's not finished just so they can sell it to us later, and know, because they know that we're going to pay for it. Bungie have laid out the blueprint to do that now, and I really hope that they don't do that. I really hope that they release a finished game. I hope that they go down the approach that Warframe have gone down, almost continually to service the game, and maybe try and do it with some form of microtransactions. They've said that they're going to try and have microtransactions for cosmetics, and if they can do that and they can do it in the right way, this game will be fantastic. I'm not saying they are going to go down this Bungie route, but it is one of my major concerns at the moment. The gaming industry at the moment is kind of been muddied with all this loot box fiasco and all these games releasing, kind of getting a bad rap at the moment. I'm really hoping that Anthem doesn't go down this route and really puts the customer at the focus and the game at the focus of their games. Now, my number 2 concern without playing Anthem whatsoever at the moment is pulling the trigger. How does it feel to fire the gun? How does it feel to move around in the world? How does it feel to play the game? Now, this is something that Warframe, Destiny and Borderlands 2, all these looter shooter typing games have got right at their fundamental core, and it's the main reason that I believe Destiny actually survived, because it felt so satisfying to just play the game, kill creatures, pull the trigger, use the different guns. It's a reason that kept people around long enough so that Bungie could try and save themselves, and I really hope that Anthem get this right. Now, it's something that I imagine they will get get right because they're a big company. BioWare are an experienced developer and they're an experienced company. EA obviously know what they're doing in terms of getting the money off you, but also they have made some successful games in the past, so I'm really hoping that obviously they get this cornerstone of the game right. But my number 3 concern with the game is that the game will not be diverse enough, or the loot will not be diverse enough. Now what I mean by this is, can one gun change the whole way that I want to play the game? Is the one exotic out there, is the one legendary piece of item out there that when I get it, I'm going to think, oh my god, I can make a whole build around this weapon. Now, this is something really exciting for loot and shooters, something that I believe Destiny really got wrong. Probably 80% of the exotics in Destiny do not matter at all in the game. If you just want the biggest, the best, and the most powerful weapon for you. And because all the classes are the same across the board, that's pretty much always the same gun. You know, the Black Spindle in Destiny 1, it was the Galahorn. You know, you always wanted this one weapon to do all of the activities because it was the most effective. Whereas other games, I believe, do this really well. A good example of this is Borderlands 2. There's a weapon in Borderlands 2 called the Northleaf, this massive, massive rocket launcher that really is very, very powerful. But its main ability is the fact not that you can just kill everything, you know, in sight, but also the fact that it has a massive blast radius and literally hits everything around you because it's just so powerful. But for the other classes in the game, there was never a real use for it besides when you were down but not out. You went into a stage where you could fire anything around you, and if you could kill something, you could get back up. Because the time limit was short, a lot of people had a Northleaf equipped in their arsenal so they could shoot it and quickly get back up. But for other classes, it was never that powerful until Gage came along, the Necromancer. She had an ability called Anarchy. This ability basically meant that if you fired your gun without reloading and continued to kill enemies, you would gain 1 stack of Anarchy. What 1 stack of Anarchy would do would mean that your bullets did more damage, but you became less accurate. Now, fast forwarding down the skill tree, you eventually get to a stage where you can have 1,000 stacks of Anarchy. Now, this is ridiculous. This basically means that if you're using a submachine gun, you've got no hope in hell of hitting anything because you're so inaccurate. But if one bullet clips someone, it's going to do a ton of damage and you're probably going to kill them in the 1 bullet. Now, this is where the Northleaf comes into it. Because the Northleaf had such an insane blast radius and could hit things from anywhere, people then realised that they could make a whole build around the Northleaf with Gage, and it gave the game such a dynamic feel because you would be allowed to basically jump in the air, shoot at the floor, and wipe out an entire room of enemies. And this made Gage one of the most powerful mob clearing characters in the whole of Borderlands 2, and that was just from 1 weapon doing that. Now, there's tons and tons of these kind of builds. I love Borderlands for that because it allows you to play the game how you want to play it, and it allows you to build builds that suit your own play style. And I really hope Anthem goes down this route instead of the route that Destiny's gone down with this generic kind of just power whoring method where all the guns do the same thing for all the different classes. I know that they're saying that everyone's going to be able to switch between the javelins that they want to use, and I think that's fantastic, but I still do think they should specialise in the fact that, you know, certain guns for the Colossus will be better off for him as opposed to, you know, for the Storm class. And I really hope that they can do this and make it work. It just makes the game so dynamic and gives you a lot of different avenues to explore while you're playing. Number 4, how you acquire the loot and RNG. Now, random loot for me is a big no-no. It leads to me just literally randomly grinding and hoping that I get what I want, and that for me is just never very satisfying. I've done it in a few games now and I've never really enjoyed that model. Now, in Borderlands 2, I know I'm on the Borderlands hype train at the moment, but you was able to kill bosses, but bosses had specific loot pools. Now, what I mean by this is there was a big boss called Pyro Pete, and he could drop a host of different weapons. He was kind of like your random loot pool, but if you killed him, you knew you could get maybe, you know, a host of 30 different items. Whereas there was other bosses that were specific. You know, if you was to kill Doc Mercy, you would get the Infinity Pistol, and you could only get it from him at that period in the game. It did change later on, but for the purpose of the video, back then that was the only person he was able to get it from. Now, they've already spoke about how they're planning to do the loot for the Stronghold. They've mentioned that they want to have actual loot tables. Maybe each Stronghold has a cluster of 20 items that you can get, and a different Stronghold has another 20. I don't know, or maybe it's just all the same across the board, but this is what they had to say about it.
Are there any loot drops that only come out of Strongholds? No. So the way the loot system works is it's loot tables, and then the harder the content you do, the higher chance you have of getting better loot.
The better
so
loot table.
If you do like a stronghold on a really hard difficulty, you'll be getting really rare, epic, even masterwork and legendary gear.
Yep.
As opposed to if you were doing free play on easy, you're more likely to get the kind of lower rarity gear.
And they've also spoken about challenges. Now this is a way to get specific loot, similar to how Destiny do it, I imagine, with quests to like the Ace of Spades. In terms of acquiring a specific gun, they've got these challenges. This is what they had to say on that.
Do bosses drop unique loot? Like if I did a stronghold and killed one of those giant gorilla looking things, could I get, I don't know, a crazy quad barreled shotgun? And I like the creativity in the question.
I have to make that.
So I think we've kind of addressed this, but generally the answer is by playing the game there are loot tables, and the harder the content you play gives you higher chances of rarity amongst the loot tables. And those loot tables are kind of, if you're playing a ranger, you're more likely to get more ranger gear, or mostly ranger gear. Separately to that, we have a challenge system. So you can think of it as what some other games kind of use achievements as like, but there might be a challenge to be like, hey, go kill the giant gorilla thing 10 times, and on the 10th time you get a specific reward. And so we're trying to work out exactly how we'll kind of mix those challenges into the rest of the game. But the primary thing will be there are loot tables, and then between crafting and challenges, there'll be some outs to chase certain things.
So there are some promising signs coming out of how the loot will work, but again, there's no real way that I can really determine if it's going to be good or not until I get my hands on it, until I start playing it and seeing if it is a satisfying system. Now, number 5 is pretty much my main concern, and it's the fact that I kind of fear that the game might be hollow. One of my biggest things and problems with Destiny, now I know it sounds like I'm hating on Destiny in this video, but Destiny's the game that I've got the most hours in out of all the games I've ever played, so it's actually a game that I love, but I love to hate at the same time. There's so many things wrong with it. The main problem that I have with Destiny is when you go into a patrol, it just feels awful. I never enjoy being in it. I'm just mindlessly, going towards my quest, completing these controls, killing enemies that don't matter, and it never really feels fun. There's nothing exciting about it. The public events system I don't really feel works that well, and I'm kind of fear that Anthem might go down that same path, and I really hope that they don't. I really hope there's a way that they can make flying around in that big open world exciting and gives me a real reason to just roam around and just enjoy logging in just to do that. A game that does it so perfectly is GTA. I know it's a completely different game, but whenever you go into GTA, wherever you are in the world, there's something to do, and there's also, you can create something from nothing. There's always something fun and satisfying you can do. Just getting in the car and going for a drive on GTA is such an enjoyable experience. Again, I know they're very different games, but I hope Anthem can make that world feel alive and make it not feel hollow. I want to be able to log in, just mindlessly go about my business, but enjoy doing it at the same time, and I really hope they can capture that essence and make the game work in that respect. Now, these have been my top 5 concerns with the game. Whether or not you agree with them, I'd like to know down in the comments what your concerns are with Anthem, and if you do agree with what you said, also please join me in a discussion down below. I love getting involved in the comments with you guys. But I'd like to thank you very much for watching, guys. I am going to be covering more Anthem content on my channel, so if you have enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. But I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, guys, and have a great day.